Welcome to my channel. This video is for a large tree topper bow with long tails. Don't forget to subscribe, tap the bell for notifications, like, comment, and share. I'll be using 2 ribbons for this bow. They are 2.5 inch width, good quality ribbons. I will be attaching the bow with a cable tie and one of these heavy duty wires. Now, I take a dowel rod and I put my spool of ribbon through there, and it just makes it a little bit easier to maneuver the ribbon while I'm making the bow. To begin, I'm going to measure out 1 yard on my first ribbon because I want some very long tails, so I'm making these tails 1 yard long. I'm going to take my second ribbon and just put it up against the first one, and I know where 1 yard is. And then I will begin making my bow at that 1 yard mark. So I have the 2 ribbons up against each other, and of course I have the pattern facing up. You just want to pinch it in the middle like I'm doing here. And that is going to be the center of your bow where you pinch it. Now you want to figure out how long do you want your loops, or how big do you want your loops. That right there is 12 inches. That's how big a loop you'll get with 12 inches. Now maybe you want really big loops, so let me show you what 18 inches will look like. "18 inches will make you a very big loop, but maybe that's what you want. You may want a really big loopy bow, so that would be what you'd want to do. But I'm going to go a little bit smaller than that. I don't want the 12 inch, I want to go a little bit bigger than that. So what I'm going to measure out is 14 inches. I'm just pinching it at 14 inches and then gathering it together. And then you want to hold it right there where it's pinched together. And then it's very important that you twist the ribbon before you make your next loop. That way your design is always on top. So you always want that design on top. So I'm measuring 14 again, and I'm taking it really slow. Don't rush this. So you're just working back and forth from one end to the next. And then you twist your ribbon, measure it out to make your next loop. The way I'm holding the bow in my hand, think of it as north and south. I'm making north and south loops. So that's my second north loop. Now I'll make my second south loop. And then you want to think about how many loops you want. How big do you want your bow? I'm making a pretty big bow here. It's going to have 5 loops on each side of my hand, but since I'm doubling the ribbon, I'm going to have double the loops. So I'm going to have 10 loops on each side, so 20 loops total. Now with each loop that I make, I'm making the bow thicker and bigger, and so the center of the bow is going to be thicker and bigger, and so it gets to be a little bit more difficult to hold on to. So that's normal if you have a little bit of trouble. If you have something you can clip it with in the center to help you out, by all means do that. But just like I said, take it slow, and if a loop falls out, just carefully put it back where it needs to be, which happens to me right here. I twist the ribbon and then one of the loops come loose, so I just have to carefully put it back exactly where it needs to go. Now that I've made my last loop, I want to go ahead and secure the bow. I'm going to use a cable tie to do that since this ribbon is so thick. If you just have a chenille stem or tinsel wire, you can go ahead and use that, but I suggest using a zip tie or cable tie to do the center just so you can get it as tight as possible. Whenever you make a bow, you want to make that center part, you want to tie it as tight as possible there in the center. It's going to make your bow just look better. It makes the loops look better. So I'm pulling it as tight as I can, and then I'm going to get my needle nose pliers and pull even tighter. So like I said, I want it as snug as I can. I want that ribbon like crunched up as much as I can there in the center. And then you want to cut that off and go ahead and go over it with a chenille stem or tinsel wire to cover up that zip tie. Plus it'll give you something to attach your bow to the tree or wherever you're attaching it to. Now after attaching or securing your bow, now you can measure out your second set of tails and cut those. Since I doubled up the ribbon, you want to pull those loops apart and just start spreading them all out. And I kind of alternate which direction I go. Like I have the red truck going to the left and then the trees going to the right on one set of loops, and then the next one I'll alternate it. So hopefully I don't have all the same ribbon or loops the same. You know, you don't want all those red trucks in one spot and all the trees in another spot. You want them all mixed up, or that's what I want for this bow. So that's why I'm doing it like that. So I'm just going through and pulling them all apart. Sometimes though, when you pull them apart, you'll notice that it doesn't want to pull the direction you're wanting it to go. So just go ahead and do it the direction it wants to go. Not only pulling the loops apart, but I am fluffing those loops up too. So you just got to stick your fingers in there and just kind of fluff them up a little bit. Now I want to cut the ends of my tails and make them pretty. I'm just cutting a V cut. So you just cut it at an angle inwards and you'll get that pretty V cut. Now I want to curl up my tails, and I'm using a dowel rod on this one to show you what you can do. You can use a pencil or anything like that and just start rolling it up. Just carefully do the ends though so you don't mess them up, and then start rolling it up. And you don't have to use it the whole time. And just roll it the rest of the way up. And that'll give your tails the real pretty little spirals if that's what you're wanting. You may want them wavy or straight or however you want them. This is just an option. You don't have to use a dowel rod. You can just simply start rolling it up like that and then just spiral. You're just going to spiral them. Now carefully find the very end of that tail and just pull it down. It can be a little difficult sometimes. Just slowly pull it down. You might have to unwind a little bit if you got it too tight. And then you can see it makes that cute little spiral all the way down. So just go to each tail. See, that one was much easier. So using the dowel rod might actually make it too tight. So it might be better to just use your fingers, because all those that I wound up with my fingers were very easy to pull. And the last one, look how cute that is. Now of course you can do several tails. If you want to do more tails than that, you can. Just attach, just cut like 2 yards and then attach that to the middle back of your bow, and that'll give you 2 extra tails. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope this video was useful. I'd love to see your pictures on Pinterest. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe and tap the bell for notifications. I hope everyone has a safe and happy holidays.